Yeah, hi there. And sometimes I might get out of the video just a little bit to look at a few things. So, with your first paragraph, I'm just going over a few things as I listen to it. A couple of words in there: specific, that's kind of a word stress, and distance, and also the word odd or odds, is at odds with the individual. So the word odds, you're saying it more odd, but it's odds. Also the word closeness. You're not pronouncing the S sound in the middle of that word, but the biggest problem here when you're reading, you're going like this. You're saying when two people are talking to each other, they tend to stand a specific distance apart. Each person has an so what you're not doing is you're not blending or grouping certain words into a group, and then you have another group of words you group into another thought group, and that's blending, my friend. You got to work a lot on thought groups and also blending. Okay, let me keep listening now, and I'll make comments as I continue to hear. Okay, so the word acceptable was difficult for you. Acceptable. That's in the third paragraph there. Okay, let me listen to your second one. So another thing in there, it's this idea of the S ending. This is what I call grammatical word endings. And let me compare what you said and then compare it to what I said. Okay, so if I go to the one paragraph, okay, it says, the second paragraph, that very last sentence says, so if the person to whom you're speaking, you said, back away a little, don't try to close a gap. Here's what I say. If the person to whom you're speaking backs away a little, don't try to close a gap. So what's the difference there? Well, the difference is you're not pronouncing the S ending. So that seems to be a recurring problem in your pronunciation. You want to make sure that you pronounce the final S endings on the ends of your verbs or your nouns. So you have to be a little bit careful about that. Okay, let's keep going. And we're getting into now, you're going to answer the questions in Part B. Can we get to those right now? Okay, that looks like Part B. Okay, let me go back, see if I can find where you've downloaded. Okay, here, I think I found it now. Okay, Part B, here it is. Now let's take a look at what you're doing here. So the good thing is when you're talking about the past tense, you're definitely using past tense verbs to do that, so that's a good sign. Now this is killing you though. You said we must hand in assignment before class over. So that's really going to drop your speaking score a lot. You want to say we needed to turn in the assignment before the class was over. So there's a lot of words in there that you're not saying, and that's going to hurt your speaking proficiency, because you want to make sure when you're speaking, you're putting all the necessary words in there in the sentence. For example, your determiners, your prepositions, and even your auxiliary verbs. You said something about he drove me back home, but I was having some difficulty understanding what you were saying there. You said, I appreciate what he did to me. I would say I appreciated what he did for me. Probably use past tense with appreciated, and then what he did for me. But using what he did is good for you because you're trying to use advanced grammar. That's a good sign. Okay, now we're getting into the second question. I'm asking you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I would say I see myself running a company, or you put get, I would change that to getting, or getting a master's degree. That's called parallel structure, so you want to balance your grammar as you're speaking. This is a good idea, though. You are talking about the future. You're demonstrating to me that you have pretty good control of your verb tenses, either when you're talking about the past or when you're talking about the future. Okay, I'm getting to your third question now. Your favorite season is summer. You said summer is no cloud. I don't think we'd say it that way. We'd say because summer has few clouds, or summer has not many clouds, or something like that. So again, some grammatical problems. Okay, so I think I've listened to pretty much everything that you've done. So you have some grammar and some vocabulary limitations, I think, which prevent you from fully expressing your idea. So that's definitely a big problem with your speech right now. You also have some pronunciation problems that you want to work on a little bit. Now the question is right now, what is your intelligibility score, and what lessons should you focus on to improve in my TOEFL course? So I can tell you that. So with the intelligibility test itself, I would say okay, I'm going to put you at about 2.3 out of 7. So you are low intermediate, unfortunately. You're low intermediate in your speaking proficiency. Sometimes you don't have the grammar, or you don't have the vocabulary, or it is very difficult to understand what you're saying. So if we look into the 2 range, I can understand a lot of what you say, but your pronunciation problems are very distracting and sometimes prevent understanding. So the other reason I gave you the 2 range, you have errors of omission. You leave words out and word endings off, and you also have a very limited vocabulary, right? So I can help you out with a couple of things. I think because your vocabulary is so limited, I would recommend that you take time to spend about 4 weeks in the vocabulary section of my online course. You really need a better vocabulary base. That's going to be really, really important for you right now based on your speaking proficiency. Now, number 2, when we get to the pronunciation part of my course, I'd recommend right now, based on the results, I think you need more practice with syllable division word stress, sentence rhythm, intonation, and thought groups and blending. And what that means is that's lessons 26 through 44. I think that would be very important for you right now. Now, what I recommend you do is, as you go through those videos, I want you to read out loud with me as I teach you the information in those videos, because you got a lot to learn, you got a lot of work in front of you. The question is, are you willing to do it? Do you want to improve? I mean, that's really it is all up to you. Because if you don't feel the need to get better, guess what? You're not going to get any better. But I'm trying to tell you that this is urgent. You should look at this as a sense of urgency. There are some theories out there that say the window to learn a language, once you start learning a new language, and the deeper that you get into learning that language, there is a window that will either open or close for you that will be ideal for you to learn the speaking and pronunciation of American English. Now, if you continue to study reading and writing and all these other things, but you neglect your speaking and your pronunciation, and the gap gets bigger and bigger, the gap, for example, between your reading and comprehension and then your speaking fluency, you may find it difficult later on to close this gap. So for you, it is urgent right now that you do work a lot on the speaking and pronunciation areas, and I hope that you will take some suggestions from this video to kind of get you going in the right direction. Now, one other thing, have you ever thought about this? What if you go to YouTube and you want to practice singing? Go to YouTube, find a video that has a song, and the words to the song are in the video, and practice singing with the singer. That's called karaoke, right? Karaoke can help you when you're doing singing. You are practicing your phrasing, your pausing, your tone, your rhythm. You're practicing a lot of important things which are important to your pronunciation and fluency of American English. So anyway, thank you very much. I'm just using the GYR. I'm just using the first letters of your first and last name. But thank you for doing the post-test, and keep up the good work. And remember that practice on a regular basis, practicing your speaking daily, is going to help you in the long run.